Jagjit writes in and he says that I invested in a tax-saving fund last year, but it wasn't
It hasn't
performing.
performed.
It hasn't performed well. Should I continue to make my make this year's tax-saving investment in the same fund, or should I opt out and try a different fund?
Yes. No, I would say that, I don't know which fund he has invested in, but most tax saving funds would not have delivered return in 1 year's time frame. And it doesn't matter, because when you invest in a tax saving fund, you should have a 5-year time frame, and for 3 years you can't take that money out anyway.
In any case,
every investment in tax saving fund comes with a lock-in of 3 years. And if you take a 5-year view, and if you keep doing that investment, I'm sure that, if there is an individual who has no money beyond the 80C tax saving investment which one has to make, I think this 1.5 lakh rupee annual investment in any 25-year time period will turn out to be a bonanza. It will turn out to be a retirement, corpus. So you just have to be disciplined. I would say, make this rule. Do your SIP in a tax saving fund. Good or average doesn't matter, because you have to see that the fund that you have invested in is I don't know which fund it is, but just avoiding the duds, which will be a third of it based on long-term performance. Because we don't know which the winner will be, and it is very hard to guess. So if you are in a reasonable fund, doing it with discipline, and stop looking at performance and annual performance of a tax saving fund.
And the bonanza bit, how many years?
I'll tell you, we did this comparison a few years back, that the most popular tax saving vehicle in India is Public Provident Fund, which has yielded a guaranteed fixed income and can never fail because it's a government sponsored thing. You are basically lending it to the government, and if the tax and the return is completely tax free, the interest income on that. If you would have done that on a 5-year in a 15-year period, because that is also a SIP, 12,500 rupee done on a 15-year period, it would have accumulated to something like 40 lakh rupees, which is nice. But if you would have done that same investment, 12,500 rupees every month in India's worst mutual fund, worst equity fund, it would have accumulated to something like 68 lakh rupees. I'm talking of picking the worst Indian equity fund. And if you would have invested in the average equity fund, it would have been 85 lakh rupees. And if you would have invested in the top 10, the best performing funds over such a long period, it was upward of 1.5 crore. So you have to make a choice. And when you are investing for 15 years and more, and we took 15-year period because PPF comes with a 15-year term.
Okay. And this really makes the case for regular investment
in equity, despite all the odds, volatility, turbulence.
For years on end, we've been asking you to invest regularly if you want that 1.5 crores that he's talking about. So, simple. 12,500 per month for 15 years.
And you'll be really taken care of.
Yeah, I know.
Of course, it was not possible to do that because this 80C limit has been changing. Earlier it was section 88A, but now I visualize that there will be some, and I would expect the government to revise this 80C because this is frozen in time. With rising inflation, I think this 1.5 lakh rupee exemption that we get should also get annually revised.